All right, so this is a quick video on why moving forward I'm not going to be dabbling or offering or installing fescue lawns anymore. Primary reason is where we're located at. We're in North Georgia. Our summers are very hot. We're very drought prone. We have droughts all the time, okay? And fescue doesn't like that. And so, in simplest terms, the fescue cycle is from September to maybe November-ish is your seeding window here in our area. And in those months, you'll just have seeds and seedlings, and you won't really have a lawn from September on, unless you're just lucky and have enough that survive the summer. But we'll get into that in a minute. But from September to November, it's growing and establishing. In the winter months, it's sending everything down into the root system, still establishing. March rolls around, you get a little bit of green up and a little bit more establishment. April rolls around, the thing explodes on the top growth. It looks great. May rolls around, you think you've got the best. You're going to have the best looking lawn, almost guaranteed. Okay, as long as your seed germinated enough, that thing is going to be immaculate. It's going to be beautiful. The second June hits, and there's that it always happens. There's that 1 week of 90-degree weather without rain, and you forgot, oh crap, I didn't water today. And you come home from work, it's going to be at the very least patchy. And this is the problem that I have with fescue lately is you just never get the peak. And if you do get the peak with a fescue lawn, it's going to be for like 2 or 3 weeks at the end of May, right before the summer heat really kicks in. And I used to get upset because I would be like, man, you're not watering enough. You're not watering enough. And, I was stubborn too. And it kind of occurs to me now that it really doesn't matter how much you water. Okay. No matter what, you're going to get some level of decline in your fescue turf in our area every single June on, because it's more of a temperature based equation. Over 90 degrees, the fescue is going to decline, because the prime time for fescue is between 70 and 85. We only get that for like a month, maybe a month and a half. Okay. And that's when you're going to get the most maturing of the grass itself, the best roots. Like, yeah, it'll work all winter, but the real peak of it, the real time that you're getting the beneficial growth, is that month and a half, which is not enough. It's just not enough. And then God forbid we get freeze in the winter, and that slows everything down, or takes a hit. It's just, there's never an opportunity for peak fescue. So unless you have like a really solid irrigation system, which I've got customers with that, and they just don't look right. They don't look right compared to people in like Virginia, or even the Carolinas can get really solid fescue turf. Ours, they're all patchy. They're all just kind of scraggly and weird looking, and the color's not quite right. And it's purely just our location. But yeah, if you've got a really solid irrigation and you can just pump water to it all the time, you can maintain a lot more of that fescue turf throughout our summers. However, when you're pumping water and things stay wet, 2 or 3 things happen. First and foremost, I can't mow it if it's constantly wet. And this was a frustration of mine, is it was either people were not watering at all, and you would have those little drought cracks in the dirt, or it would be so wet that you couldn't even walk in it without sinking down. There is a such thing as too much water. Don't do too much water. There is a such thing as not enough water. You want to be in that Goldilocks water zone with fescue. It is a must that you put out just the right amount of water. So otherwise I can't mow it. Tears it up, damages the lawn. The other issue with overwater, the amount of water required. So even if you are in the Goldilocks zone with fescue, that amount of water with our hot, humid temperatures, you're going to get fungus all over the lawn. Now, if you mow in the fungus, you can spread it, but regardless, the watering itself, even in the Goldilocks watering zone of fescue, you're going to get fungus because fescues are pretty darn susceptible to fungus. So you have another maintenance item, constantly putting out fungicide. Can you catch it in time? Maybe, maybe not. Some areas you probably can, but there's most likely areas you can't. So you gotta reseed and patch. The other issue with overwatering, because of our humid issues, or not even overwatering, but even in the just right zone, tall fescue lawns, you have to mow them taller, right? Like 4 inches, okay? When you do that and you have all this water going down, what ends up happening is it's the perfect breeding ground for mosquitoes and gnats and all sorts of bugs. Rabbits love the tall grass. They can bed down into it. So it's another maintenance item, right? So you can't really get away from those issues. You're gonna have to be putting out insecticides constantly to keep the gnats down, the mosquitoes down. You're gonna be doing fungicide all the time to try and get rid of the fungus that you're causing from watering it just right. What else was the other thing? You can't really like do much in the tall fescue lawn because the grass is so tall and thick. Like, you have to stay off of it. Like, it's so delicate. Like, you can't go out and, like, your kids can't go play in it. Your dog can't go run circles or whatever. Like, you have to, it's so fragile. You have to stay off of it, right? And even if you did, like sure, it's fluffy and nice and whatever, but it's just kind of tall and shaggy and weird. And you just can't really do much on the fescue grass. And some of you old heads are going to be like, stay off my lawn anyway, but still, you want a lawn to be functional because you don't want all this land to just be unusable, right? So in the summer months, there are a lot of times where you don't want to mow your fescue. And if it's a drought situation, that might be a month. And so the lawn will still be growing a little bit, but if you mow it, you risk burning the whole lawn out or damaging it in a drought scenario or a 95 plus degree scenario. So you end up with not only a not peak kind of brown ugly lawn, it's also tall and scraggly because it was 4 1/4 inch before the drought hit, and now that the drought is hit, it's actually had a week to grow to about 5 or 6 inches, but now I can't mow it because I'll damage it. So it's got to sit that way, and it'll grow little bits and bits and bits, and then by the time you can mow it, you have to take off more than 1/3, which is not good for it. God, fescue is a pain in the neck. Fescue is a pain in the neck. The stripes are nice, but golly, it's a pain in the neck. That's why I love Bermuda. That's why I love zoysia. Zoysia is probably my favorite grass. This out here next year, we're going to try to get zoysia. I don't know how I'm going to time it with work, but that's what we're going to try to do because it's just better, and you still get your stripes, and the level of maintenance is probably on Bermuda and zoysia. The maintenance program is put it out and watch it grow. Right? You can get away with just put it out and watch it grow. Maybe spray for weeds once or twice a year. Keep it fertilized a little bit just so it thickens up to choke out weeds. It will have a little bit of issues, but just the laundry list of things I explained in our area, Bermuda's not going to be dealing with that. Zoysia's a little finicky, but Zoysia's not going to be doing as much as fescue, right? And it does look pretty darn good. So yeah, that's a big long ramble on fescue and why I'm not recommending it moving forward. It is a beautiful grass, but it just isn't really tenable here with the crazy amount of effort it takes to keep it alive and the expense of the seed. And just like I say, all those issues are not present with a warm season turf, because the warm season is what our area prefers, right? Or what that grass prefers our area, right? It's really as simple as put it out and watch it go. We did a zoysia sod job earlier this year, put it out in March. Come June, it just greened up, and it just stayed green, and it is so slow growing that even if I had to skip it for rain or whatever, there was no issue. Like, there's no tiptoeing. Fescue, it feels like you tiptoe constantly because it's so finicky and fragile. Zoysia, mow it, don't mow it, fertilize, weeds where? It's so thick, there's no weed. Like, zoysia is just everything. I'm going to really be working on zoysia this year, and I think that's it. This might even become a zoysia channel. I'm going to be one of those zoysia guys, but we're going to fence off our backyard, put zoysia back here. I'm going to play around with it. Maybe I film that. Maybe I wait until I've had some time with it. I don't know, but yeah, zoysia over fescue, Bermuda over fescue all day, every day. Not crazy about centipede and St. Augustine, just because they do require slightly different chemical regimens. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on fescue in the crazy Georgia heat. Thanks.